Hello everybody, I'm Lori. Welcome back to Milkweeds and Roses. It is a beautiful morning here. We just had 2 days of a pretty steady rain, which we needed it. I wish I could say we got more rain than this. Anyway, we'll take everything we can get. But this rain comes on the heels of some extremely warm, unseasonably warm weather here for my Zone 5B garden. And so this is actually a good time when it's low 50s, mid 50s, early morning. There is some cloud cover, but frankly that's because of Canadian wildfires. There's a smoke, hazy sort of thing. But it's a good time to deadhead and transplant and prune back some of the plants, because in cooler weather, after they've been hydrated, it's less stress on the plants. So some tasks that I have been putting off probably too long need to be done. So today is a get her done day, all right? I also have some irises to move that have grown to the point of, being a little overwrought for the space they're in. And one clump in particular has now crowded out an irrigation head. So that's really stopping proper irrigation of the rest of the bed. It's not ideal, but again, this is a good time. Since plants need to be divided and moved, this is a good time to do it. They have all summer to recover, and I've got all summer to baby them. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's get an update. Oh, on that note, I'm being paid. Let's get to work. Oh, isn't she pretty? First year blooms here for this rose in my backyard. The rain has beat up some of the petals, so I'm going to clean it up. But also there's some deadheading involved because I want to keep it blooming. Let's take a look. All right, so here's an example. See, here is one to deadhead. But I just take this one down, and when the rest of this spray is done, then I prune it down to the next leaf, the next set of at least 5 leaves, which would be, oops, can you see it? Which would be right here. But if it's just taking out a head that has died, one particular rose, you just snip it down to the base. This one, here's an example. Okay, so this part of the bloom fell off probably from the rain, but it needs to be pruned back to this set of at least 5 leaves, right? And go back in, I'm sure, here's another one, all right? Right. I know we have more, oh yeah, here, this one. Okay. Everything, here's another one. Now, since I have another to bloom, I am just going to cut off, prune it back to something. So just prune it back to here. And then when this part is done blooming, I will prune it down to here where that leaf is. I could wait till all of these are done blooming and then just trim back each bunch down to the cluster of 5 petals. It's just keeping it tidy, I guess. And this is just one of those, if you got time, do it things, because it's not going to impact the health of the rose at all. It's just really an aesthetics thing. That's fine. All right, and what do we have here for Tessa the D'Urbervilles? Okay, here's another example. Now, I could prune it just down to this set of 3 right there, but that isn't going to produce any other buds or blooms. So I want to prune it back to this set right here to produce additional roses. This one will bloom again. Oh, and she smells so great. Looks good, smells even better. Okay, here's another example. So I could prune it just to this little accompanying shoot of leaves, but that's not going to help her rebloom. So prune her down to there. All right. Another one. Okay. That's pretty good. And the same thing, when this whole bunch is done, then I prune it down, and this one is done, obviously. Then I would prune it down to here. See where that leaf is? That's where I would prune it, to just above that. Let's see what else we have in here. Okay. Still unnamed rose. It's one of those weekend guerrilla gardening things that I did when I was almost done, almost retired. But yeah, I would garden on the weekends, and I didn't always put the tags in. My bad. So some I'm working to identify, and this is one of them. Smells incredible. This is her first year blooming. She's been in here, well, at least 5 years. So, but this is the first year blooming. I fertilized. I don't know why she's just blooming now. I can't believe it took that long. But part of it is because of this beauty here. She's in the canopy of a 70-year-old maple. So that just sucks up all the nutrients, all the moisture. You really have to work hard to grow roses, even if they have the sun, and this gets morning sun, a good 6 hours of morning sun at least. But you have to work hard to fertilize and water extra these particular roses if you try to grow them in that condition. There are things that, because they're drought and they're dry shade plants, that they're going to be just fine. But roses are a little bit of a bigger lift, so to speak. Now here's another deadhead opportunity. So this is a columbine. These are all seed heads. I think it is kind of nice how it holds itself up. It's still sturdy, and I can allow all these seed heads to ripen, like this one. And then inside, these little seeds, I don't know if you can see them, they're not ripe yet, but tiny, tiny little black seeds that then ants will actually spread and plant these around the garden. So yeah, it's great. So I'm going to let this stand for just a bit longer here, let the seeds ripen. I love having columbine around. I mean, look how pretty that is. Here's some more seed heads. Again, just, you know, the plant will hold itself up. The foliage is still good to go. And then a little bit later, I will cut it down to the foliage, down to the base, and it'll reblush. But not always get more flowers, but still, it looks good still. So got some more legs here. Now I do have my wisteria blooming. Some of it's starting to fade a bit. So as soon as this is all done blooming, then I'm going to give her a hard prune, because if I had done a better job of pruning, frankly, I would have more flowers than I do right now. All this whippy growth, you know, all of this is kind of pointless, and it doesn't produce flowers, not to mention it's on a, you know, 30-year-old wooden fence. So I'm going to give this a hard prune probably in about a week, because the time to prune a wisteria is right after it blooms, so it has all summer to recover. But yeah, oh gosh, this smells so good. I love wisteria. So pretty. Still no sign of, knock knock on wood, no sign of slugs in this. Not that Empress Brew would have anything to worry about. But yeah, it's kind of nice. I don't know if it's the copper mesh that I wound around the bottom. Hello, squinnies. Eastern chipmunk, I guess. But yeah. Ah, look, did you just see that? Cheeky little bugger. You know what they do is they clean up the seed that spills from my finch feeder. And I see my woodpecker feeder is, I do work hard at drawing birds to my garden, not just because this is a certified wildlife habitat garden, but also because they're good at taking care of unwanted pests. I see, I have 2 broods of robins raising their young. The first fledged, a couple weeks ago. The second just fledged. got a cute video actually. The babies aren't too bright as they wander around, but the parents still stick around and pick up bugs to feed their young, and that'll go on for maybe a week to 10 days. The babies are awkward flyers, and as I said, not very bright, but they depend on their parents while they're on the ground and still vulnerable. But I encourage wildlife, and I encourage birds in particular to come into my garden to take care of unwanted pests. So feeding them year round is a big part of what I do. And growing pollinator plants, things that hummingbirds like. This year I've got a thistle that I'm just allowing to get up and grow. I'll harvest the seed head because I really don't want a whole bunch of thistles in my backyard. Maybe it's the old bean walker in me. Milkweed, yes. I mean, the name of my channel is Milkweeds and Roses. I get that. Thistle, selectively. It can be really beautiful, but I prefer to feed them with different plants and host plants and provide habitat and all kinds of things to encourage birds. But yes, birds in your yard, good. Possum in your yard, also good. Coyote, maybe not so much. So yeah, you got to know where to draw the line. At least I have a clear line. So anyway, yes, I do encourage the birds. I do feed the birds in addition to having the plants. So that was my sidebar. The hostas are looking good. Now I did not prune this, a rabbit did. Little stinkers. So I know I support wildlife, but fewer rabbits are okay by me. So there are some community cats, I prefer to call them instead of feral. Some community cats who keep the population in check. And they go after mice that also would chase after the fallen bird seed. They don't seem to bother the birds. They've got enough to choose from here, but I don't seem to have that problem. Now, this is my reblooming lilac. It did bloom. It was beautiful. These are the little, I don't know exactly, I have pruned it just lightly, but I want to keep it growing and see how that goes this first year. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just watching for a year and seeing how things go. Generous Gardener blooming for the first time, and boy, her petals just shatter when she is done. And that's just a breeze away. So deadheading here is going to be pretty easy. Whoops, all right, there you go. Okay. All these little things flying around, these are also pollinators. Not bees per se, but these also help to pollinate plants. Kind of a nuisance when you're out here, I guess, but you know what? There's all kinds of things. Parasitic wasps, beneficial bugs, and I do believe in beneficial bugs. They're looking for aphids. They help to pollinate plants as well. But just by nature of crawling around and flying around, it's all good. But man, is she pretty. Check out the rain sitting on this rose. It's just so beautiful. Oh, and like I said, well, that's the only thing is when she drops her petals, man, it's pretty wild. It's almost like a ginkgo or something. It just they all fall at once. So beautiful though. Wow. I am very impressed with Generous Gardener. I see why they named her that. I mean, this is just her second year. Holy smokes. Had some sawfly, you see the holes in the leaves. But not so bad, not bad. Hosta's still looking good. This is New Dawn, budded up, ready to go. Nothing to prune here. Okay. Well, this view right here, I just love. Going through a vine-covered archway. This is a new autumn clematis. Nothing to prune yet here. she's on the move. And Teresa Bonet. I have pruned some things. Some of these up high, frankly, might take a little bit of a ladder to prune that. But yeah, this is so gorgeous. Pollinators love her. I could take out this little tiny one right here, I guess, but you know, I kind of wait till the whole bunch is going to be done, and then it makes it a little bit easier to prune. I also have an Astronova ready to a clematis wound around in there. Of course, John Warren still hanging out and pressing. And don't you just love the seed heads when it's done blooming? Aren't those fun? Those are so fun. I mean, look how shiny. Isn't that gorgeous? I might actually leave those. I don't know. All right, this is where there's some work to do. So my swamp milkweed is all good. But I have some sage to prune, some nepeta to prune. See how it gets big. This is new growth here. Some is still flowering, but I think most of the pollen is gone. And the older growth is so long it's flopped. So I need to prune that. Oh, here's pruning. Okay. Whoops. So there's still another bud on this one, so I'll just prune that part for now. There we go. So prune it down to a leaf of at least 5, a little bit more. There we go. And then this one. Right. Isn't it pretty? So pretty. Now this one, I can wait until it's probably... This one I could have waited till both of them are done and prune them both at the same time. Ugh, there's another. Now I did prune some of this. Some other I left out for pollinators. Now this one we can prune now. Okay, get it right back there. There is plenty, trust me. More things for the pollinators to pick from out here. It is just fine. And this, famously reflushes pretty easily. I have left some up. Okay. Like this one. Yes, that's a little long, but again, I'm leaving some things here. Oh, that's pollinators. There we go. Okay. This one. Okay. Still plenty to choose from. This one, same thing. See how it gets so tall and heavy. Here's new growth. Still impressive looking. But then you get down here where it's flopped. That's old and needs to be pruned away. I'll just go right in there. And also it gets it off of the grass because it blocks out the light. This plant is so vigorous. Big fan of salvias, especially in this spot though, because of the overhang. I mean, this was never designed to be a flower bed. It just had rocks in it when we first moved in here like 15 years ago. So bit by bit I've transformed it. But yeah, it's never going to have a lot of light. Or I'm sorry, it has plenty of light, but it's never going to have a lot of rain because it's been designed to prevent rain from getting up next to the foundation. So that, yeah. Here's some more down in here. This is kind of old. Right back there. Here we go. All right, not to mention giving some more, little bit of better light here to my dahlia. Here's another one. This I can go back again to. See, there's still some new buds down here. This is pretty old. pruned my mom early and often, right? I hope it was early enough. It's mum confetti is what this one is. So man, do they grow fast. Kind of got away from me tucked in with the plants here, so I wish I would have pruned it a couple weeks earlier. All right, and yeah, my nepeta, prune this. Not all of it, I'm going to be selective here because it continues to reflush. There'll be some more. This is the iris that I had to move. So I cut it up, took it out of there, cut it up, and then here's part of it, and then I've transplanted other parts around the garden just to give a little more airflow. But in here was a sprinkler head that was just beaten down on the iris and really not much else. So as a result, see, you plant them so high, just the roots, just barely in there. And I propped it up and weighted it down with some rocks. So I don't expect, even though this is a reblooming iris, I don't expect it to rebloom. I just need it to establish some roots and get back in there. But taking that out will also ensure that this wedding dress rose will now get some water. This beast needs to be divided. It's gotten too big. And also, yeah, you just, when you see these after it's bloomed, just nip them off, because that's developing seed and it takes energy away from the rhizomes, which are needed to get this iris to rebloom. So that's my next job, that one. Okay, here's a dead head. Whoa, let me check that out. All right. I'll take this down further, but I still have one more bud to open. Isn't she pretty? Wow. So impressive. Quicksilver. And some more yet to bloom. Lady in red. Gorgeous. And there's another clematis in here. Trying to get in there. There's another opportunity to deadhead back here. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's in there. Straddling up. Oh, ouch. Yeah, so should have worn long sleeves. I'm gonna have to get back and get in there before I get all scratched up. Yep, it's one of those plan ahead kind of things and have the right equipment. I'll get back to that. And also, pruning back my Autumn Joy sedum. Now I'm leaving some stalks kind of tall so they will, because I tell you what, when these bloom, the butterflies, the bees, they just absolutely love it. Weed, 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 weed. Allow for some, but let's not get out of control here. Okay. So these, the good thing about these is they root so easily. So I mean, literally, if you just, I'm cutting some of these down to a leaf, not all the way down to the ground. A couple of leaves, just cutting some of these down, half the plant, not all of it. This one's ahead of the others, a little bit bigger. So I'll cut a couple of these down. There we go, right down in there. So maybe it won't flop as much. That's the thought anyway. We'll see. Plus it'll stagger the bloom, which will be good. Now here's just an example. So these three right here. Right. To get this to rebloom, all you have to do, or to rebloom, to root, they're so easy to root. If I could do this with one hand. Just take these lower leaves off. All right. Also less stress for the plant. Like this. Look, let's find a spot for him, shall we? A place that gets some sun. Oh yeah, like where I just planted this one last year. So this is how easy it is. Wipe away some dirt, some mulch. Like that. Stick it in the ground. And look at that. You know what? It'll take root just like that. I mean, before the end of the year, you'll have a sedum plant here. So that's the good part about trimming back sedums. You just get more plants. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. I do have more work to do as soon as I hit the stop record button right here. I'm going to need some sleeves. I'm getting all scratched up. Plan ahead, folks. Have the proper equipment, not just the right garden tools, but the right tools to protect yourself whenever you're gardening. You know, just a heads up. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you continue to come back so you can see the garden evolve and see these plants now that they have been pruned down, how they look, how they bounce back. We're growing together, aren't we? Thanks again.